Hi guys, welcome to Daddy in the Don. Today we're going to be previewing Brentford versus Norwich. We're going to be speaking to Bees fan Rhys and getting his thoughts and opinions on this fixture. So hi Rhys, thanks for coming on. So before we get onto the Norwich fixture, let's just have a quick recap of the Burnley performance. So obviously it wasn't your finest hour in the Premier League. Very un-Brentford-like, very sloppy, especially in that first half, could have perhaps been a lot worse. So what were your thoughts on a poor performance as well as losing to a team that perhaps you would have been targeting at least a point from?
Hi, thanks for having me on. Do we really have to talk about Burnley? No. It's unrealistic to expect 8 or 9 out of 10 performances in games every week, but I expected at least a point from this game. I felt we were flat for the majority of the game and extremely nervous, which is how I felt against Leicester. And I feel as though we took too long to realise what we were doing wasn't working.
So obviously there was quite a few changes. Obviously I saw Brian and Buemo wasn't playing. Force came in up top. You had your backup goalie in. So formation-wise, to me it looked a little bit different, but obviously I don't watch them game in, game out for the full 90 minutes, so you might have a better opinion than that on me. So it looked a bit different, and obviously it didn't look like Brentford at all. So do you think those changes and anything formation-wise contributed to that, or do you think it was just all-round you weren't at the races?
I think when it comes to the changes that were made, I don't think they were really ones that Frank had much control over. If you look at people like Baptiste, Mbeumo, Janelle, Wissa, Ajer and Raya, they were all either injured or they're recently returning from knocks. And I feel like as a team we were disjointed because of this. Vitali's presence was felt as soon as he came on. We had some confidence in us. We were playing more forward despite us being 3-0 down. I also feel as though if it was 1-0 to Burnley, Brian would have been subbed on to try and nick a point. But obviously we were 3-0, not worth risking him. I don't think there was much difference to the formation than recent games. It's typically a 3-5-2 that we play with the wing backs of Canos and Henry. But the aimless long balls were what I felt really cost us because we just handed them the ball, let them control the game. Instead of keeping the ball on the floor, we dominate how the game should flow. But yeah, that's how it ended.
So moving forward, I've been told by many Brentford fans and many Championship supporters that Brentford are quite a resilient team that are good at bouncing back and don't sit on negativity. So is this the perfect opportunity now playing Norwich to fire a few goals in, get the confidence back up and get yourselves heading back on track to where you need to be?
I would tend to agree. We are a resilient side, and as a team, whether it be a win, a loss, or a draw, live by the 24-hour rule. Whatever happened, happened. We reflect on it, we celebrate it, whatever. But after that, we don't talk about it. We focus on the next one. But saying that, I'm not exactly licking my lips at this fixture. I'm honestly more excited for the international break to give us a reset, look to focus on how we can improve and maybe not be the way we have been. Norwich have always had a way with picking up points against us, whether they're firing on all cylinders or not. I think to the 2 games last year, they stole a point from us from a Kenny McLean strike. They got 3 points against us because of a wayward ball from Canos. It doesn't matter what kind of form they're in, they will find a way. Of course, now they don't have Buendia, who was the catalyst for all of that, but I'm not full of confidence based off of our last 2 performances that I've seen us put in.
So from a tactical point of view, do you think he'll make any changes to this game, or do you think he'll just write that off as a bad day at the office with the Burnley game? Or are there players that are going to be available that can come back in and get you back playing how you have been all season? So do you think he's going to stick or twist on this one?
I think he'll stick with the 3-5-2. As I said, we've used that for the majority of the games this season, apart from like 2 cup games. But I believe that's the one thing we might have as an advantage over Norwich, because when we've played them, we've used a 4-3-3, and they've always found the gaps to try and break through us. Whereas playing with the 3-5-2, they haven't faced us with that, so they may not know what to expect with that. My hope is that Ajer and Janelle are fit and will return ahead of Zanka, who hasn't done bad, but Ajer's classier. He will run down the wing and get back up to the pitch. He will overlap Canos. He'll make options for Canos instead of leaving Canos to do it all on his own, which then leaves him isolated and we can't do anything. I also think that Janelle needs to come in because, as I said, we were so much more confident when he was on. Even Godos could maybe come on because he done really well in his little cameo, and I think they would look to replace either one of those two would replace Jensen, because I'm not convinced with his off the ball work to warrant him staying in the team with his on the ball work.
So obviously, thanks for coming on, Rhys. Thanks for giving us all your opinions. And before you go, can you just give us a quick run through how you think this game's going to play out? So what type of game we're going to get and what your score prediction will be?
I can see this game either going one of two ways. It's going to be a complete blowout, and we're going to either be on the good end of it or we're going to be on the bad end of it like Burnley. Or it's going to be a draw. And there's no real in between. It's not going to be like a tight victory. It's going to be a draw or it's going to be a blowout. That's the way I see it. It'll be tight. It'll be tense. There won't be real room to maneuver. It'll be a case of who makes the first mistake, and then let's see what happens from there. Realistically, both teams are low in confidence. Norwich will take a draw and try and sneak a win. I believe we'll want to win, but we'll take anything that isn't a loss just to end this run of 3 losses. I reckon, as a scoreline, I'll go 0-0. Because I don't believe we have the cutting edge that we did at the beginning. The chances just aren't quite falling our way. But I also feel that they're sort of similar. Like I say, they don't have Buendia as their catalyst. Their creation isn't maybe the same. So we should be able to shut them out. So yeah, I'd go 0-0.